I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we uncover crucial investment strategies with an incredible author. His name is Kenneth Trester, and he's written an important book. It is called Investing in an Era of Power, Control, and Corruption. The author is a renowned options advisor with over 4 decades of experience, and he provides a practical guide to navigate these volatile markets. Today, we will discover how to seize opportunities, mitigate risks, and maximize profits even in the most challenging economic conditions. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Ken, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Well, nice seeing you, Logan.
They say it's impossible to time a market because we never know what's coming around the corner. Is this a good time to get into the market, would you say?
Yes, it is. Yes, but especially with options. Okay, because with options, you limit your risk and you can accelerate your rewards. And you can't do that just by buying stocks or things of that sort. Okay, so what my approach is that because we are in a declining country, and by declining I mean that we are a republic, and a republic with 50 states. And the average life of a republic is only 240 years. We're in the 248th year.
Wow.
So we are in the danger area, is what I would call it. So you have to try to invest in that kind of an environment, and that's a tough thing to do. But the problem we face is that because we are a republic, the amount of debt we're building up is always the end of a republic. In other words, most republics do not survive because there's too much debt, and we are accumulating too much debt. And at the same time we're doing that, we're accumulating too much bureaucracy. We have 23 million federal employees now. That is far too much bureaucracy to support. And then the third thing is we have too much regulation. We have 15 agencies that are all armed, which means they have guns, and many of them have their own police forces. And that includes the IRS, which has added another 80,000 employees. So they are all expanding at much higher rates than you would expect. So those three things are the things that you have to be concerned with. The biggest thing, though, is debt. So we have to try to invest in a market where there's so much debt. And the problem with debt is that the US currency eventually is going to decline, or not going to buy as much as it does right now. And that's the biggest problem you face. So debt is always the end of most republics. And so that's the plain truth. Okay. And of course, you can see also we are spending far too much money. In other words, we're wasting our money. $3.6 billion was paid out to dead people in the last 2 or 3 years. So that's a real negative in going through this process. So you have to try to prepare for this situation. And the way to do that is to invest, but you have to invest in real assets. You don't want to invest in things that will evaporate. In other words, like investing in the cybersecurities. Cybersecurities is the biggest con of all of them. Okay, it's actually a Ponzi scheme, and and it's become so huge that it's reported on in the stock market all the time. But it is a very wasteful security because there's nothing there. You are buying air, nothing else. You can have all the computer programs you want around that air, but it's still just air, which means it is worthless. And then the other one that is getting worthless is your own currency. So you want to invest in things that are real assets: gold, silver, oil, and then stocks that have real value. That's the areas where you're going to really have your real returns. But the problem with all these assets is there's a lot of risk in them because we're in a very bad environment. So that's the problem we're facing. So how do you fight this? You have to basically try to buy options, and options allow you to put very little money into stocks that control your environment. Okay, so therefore you want to buy options because you can invest in things that control stocks but don't have a lot of risk in them. So if you buy really cheap options, and you can buy options for as little as $5 for 100 shares of stock. Excuse me. So that's the biggest thing that you want. In 1987, in my newsletter, I recommended a option, and in 1987, I recommended an option which was $6.25. That's $6.25 controlling 100 shares of stock.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
that option went up to $1,800 in 1987. And you can do that now. There are plenty of all kinds. There's options on everything now because it's become so popular. So you can buy options that are very cheap, control hundreds of shares of stock, and you're not risking much in the process.
What advice would you give to a novice investor who's looking to start in options trading?
Well, the best thing is try to get some education regarding options.
Mm-hmm.
There are call options, which are bets that the stock's going to go up. There are put options that are bets the stock's going to go down. So you want to be looking at those kind of things. And you can get into my book, and I go through all the getting you how to learn how to use options. But it's very important to use them. And the beauty is you always want to buy low and sell high. And with options, you can do that because you can buy options for as little, again, as $5 for 100 shares of stock. And then you can wait and see if you're ever going to have an explosion. And that could happen at any time. And I call it the black swan situation. And I think eventually we will see some very severe moves in the market, which could be up or down. Yeah. So you want to try to take advantage of that by buying very cheap options.
Talking about digital currency now, that's kind of a frightening aspect of our economy. If our paper money goes away, if our coins go away, and we're at the control of a government who's going to tell us how much is on our card each month or something like that, right?
Right, exactly. And that's what, cyber securities are the worst investment. Mm-hmm. Because they could vanish at any time. Because again, all you're doing is looking and buying air. You're not buying anything valuable. So the U.S. dollar is better than a cyber security. That's for sure. Because a cyber security really is a Ponzi scheme, worth nothing basically. And in the long run, eventually these things will work out, I think.
Tell us a little bit about your book and what readers will find inside.
Well, my book kind of goes through what happens to a republic over time. And like I said, we are in the 248th year of our republic. And eventually republics die, and they die for one basic reason, and that is debt, as I said before. And if you can look at our debt now, it's $35 trillion, and that's a low number. And our inflation, which they're saying is around 3 or 4% now, it's a much higher than that. Because in 1980 figures, it is much higher than you think. Okay, so that's the biggest thing. And your inflation is telling you a lie. And I think you can see that by going to the store.
Exactly. Look at your groceries, look at your restaurant bill, look at your rent, look at your mortgage. Things have gone up double, oil, triple,
whatever,
4 times.
Your gasoline, right?
Yeah. And so we're being told, oh, it's 6%, 7%. Garbage. Right. I mean, groceries that cost $200 for a basket of groceries just 4 years ago are now double that,
That's exactly.
Do you think the
right.
election will help? Do you think who gets in the White House matters?
Well, I would think that if Trump gets in, I think you may have a chance. But I'm just saying a chance.
Right.
Okay. So you don't know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you want to try to protect your assets and also invest in options, because options are ways of protecting your assets that you've earned your life to create. And so that would be the first thing I would do. Like I said, buy options, but there's another way you can use options. And that is when the premiums get high, when the price of the options get high, you want to write options. And writing options means You're going to take the bet instead of making the bet. So like a casino, you're going to take the bet. You can do that. Everybody can do that with an account. If you set up a stock brokerage account, and you can write options, and I would be writing put options because that's bets that the stock's going to fall, which I think eventually are going to do. So I would be writing puts, and I would be earning money as I wait for the stocks to drop in price where I can buy low and sell high, in a sense. Yeah. So you want to try to set it up where you can buy options at low prices and write options as a way of creating wealth as you wait for a stock to fall in price to a point where you'd want to buy it. But you get paid to wait for that. And I call that the 85% play. You have an 85% chance of making money.
You can't swallow.
Okay. So that's the big thing.
Amazing, amazing. Well, this is an important book, no doubt, to every investor, which is just about everybody, because we all have control now today of our retirement funds. So
That's
we
right.
are investing every day, whether it's through your company or whether it's personally or through your IRA. This book is called Investing in an Era of Power, Control, and Corruption. Kenneth Trester is a renowned options advisor with more than 4 decades of experience, and this guide is a practical guide to navigating today's volatile markets.
Yes.
It is highly recommended. Ken, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Okay, well, thank you, Logan.
I appreciate your time. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.
I already have.